Hello everyone! About a month ago I started up a challenge using a mod called the Glutton tournament. The whole goal of this challenge was to eat as much food as possible within a time limit, with cooked food giving you more bonuses. There were quite a few entrants to the competition I held, and I really wanted to show off what they did. It was really surprising how much you can optimize for a single goal when there's competition on the line. My previous best was about 10 million, and the top scorer of the tournament ended up getting about 11 times that number, which is really insane to think about. The strategies chosen varied because of the different time limit. Each were unique in having every team member working together to optimize the amount of calories as well as optimizing the bonuses. There are two categories to enter, one being 10 minutes and the other being 20. So let's take a look at the strategies that the teams used to compete. One of the first I saw was the management of the sprint function. During the challenge, the player is allowed to sprint. However, you drain hunger very fast while doing so, only really giving you about 2 minutes worth of sprint time before you start starving. During the tournament, there would be one person sprinting searching for a big food source such as beefalo, while others were slowly gathering fillers, trying to not waste too much food by sprinting. This really only happened in the 10-minute submissions because the teams were comprised mostly of Warley and Woody. In this competition, Warley was only really used for his crockpot, and so he was mostly just a filler character only for that item. He has a lot of trouble using the sprint function since he can only really eat the crockpot foods. One of the things people looked for were for juicy berries. And so players searched for a secondary pig village which often would spawn a bunch of berries. One of the funniest thing about this was actually the effect of gobblers. Every time you harvest a berry bush, there's a 10% chance that a gobbler will spawn. They also take a bit of time to spawn after you have harvested, so they can potentially steal from bushes that you have yet to harvest. This affected the teams a lot because players chose to have juicy berries instead of regular berries, allowing gobblers to potentially cause more havoc, since gobblers are also quick to harvest the juicy bushes. So you had to really be on guard to take advantage of gobblers without losing berries on them. The main goal was often to try and get meat and fillers for meatballs, so you really had to determine what characters were useful in order to best employ that strategy. Some characters could offer some unique powers like providing easy access to meats. However, what really matters is getting the multiplier bonus. That's why oftentimes there are Warleys and Woodies chosen as main characters for the 10-minute challenge. Warley primarily because of his crockpot, as the time it takes to create a crockpot with any other character really took too much time. This made Warley go up in value despite him not really being able to do anything. Walter and Wendy were also two characters that were considered because they both have easy means of collecting morsels, as they both could farm birds and rabbits without competition. Wilson is also an interesting choice, especially with meat farming, since it would be possible to convert full meats into morsels and vice versa, leading to more filler, and making it possible to make a stew out of just 3 whole meats. Woody, however, was one of the more interesting characters since he's able to farm up other filler, such as birch nuts, but also farm up beefalos really quickly thanks to his moose form. One of the runners ended up taking out multiple herds of beefalo just with one transformation. And what really helped was actually the fact that forms couldn't starve. So you could basically sprint through the whole duration of the transformation. Other than gathering, cooking was actually more important. Even though we made it so that cooking is faster in this mod, it's surprising how much time you actually have to really dedicate to cooking and eating in this challenge. Oftentimes the last 5 minutes was dedicated to cooking and eating. There was a team that tried to cheese this by pausing and putting ingredients in the pot so that way the timer doesn't keep going. They ended up getting close to first place, but they didn't end up winning. In the 20-minute challenge, most of the actions were the same. However, this gave the opportunity for more options, like actually crafting a crockpot versus just using Warley for a pot. Some people even used naturally spawning crockpots from random set pieces to be able to avoid the crockpot altogether. With the 20-minute challenge, it allowed you to get more tools to be able to collect less efficient fillers. Things like mushrooms come to mind. The only problem with the 20-minute one though is that sometimes when a task was done, people would just sit around, since their main goal was achieved. That was the difference between the winning team and the other teams. In the winning team, everyone was doing something until the very end. And that's really what made the difference between Team 1 and Team 2 in the 20-minute competition. Both teams followed the aspect of multiplier farming. One did it with flower petals and the other did it with warthog stoves. Anything that is eaten will increase the glutton bonus even if it did not provide food. The only difference is that more caloric foods increase the bonus more. So in our winning 20-minute submission, while other players gathered meat and fillers, Warthog was soul farming and building up the glutton bonus. so that way he could eat everything once it was ready. And in doing so, they ended up getting 111 million calories. You can see the calorie totals here for both the 10-minute and the 20-minute competition. It was really fun and surprising to see what people can do when put into a competitive environment. I thank everyone who's joined the Glutton tournament. It was really fun to watch everyone playing. Hopefully we can do it again someday with some unique twists. The link for the channels of everyone who participated is down below. Go and check them out. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Until next time, this has been Tara, and take care.